The 2025 Pittsburgh Pirates, were they doomed from the start? We will discuss Noah Heil's recent article detailing this, plus Alex Stumpf's annual Sporcle quiz. You're listening to the North Shore 9 podcast presented by Fanduel. Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Bucco Brew Powered by Fer Coffee Tea. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have Jim Rosati. Jim, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I was wondering if you were going to bring me on there, if it was just going to be a solo show, and I was just going to sit on the sidelines.
I want to do solo. I was making it up for you for that one day that I missed, and you went solo.
Yeah. You know what? It's nice to be back. It's nice to be back. I don't know if the people, the viewers or the listening audience has noticed, but I've been MIA for a bit. Last night was the first night I slept in my bed in over a week. It was glorious. So, yeah, I'm feeling good this morning.
That's awesome. I'm feeling good as well. I'm refreshed. 162 games is over with. No, I mean, it's funny. Like, you and I were on the post-game show yesterday, and yeah, it's like this bittersweet right now, feeling more sweet than bitter. But I don't know. It's just kind of like refreshing. Like, we are done. We made it.
Yeah, well, like the daily post-game grind is done, but yeah, we're not done. We still got a lot to do. But yeah, like just the daily watching the games for 3 hours just to talk about them in a miserable way most nights. That's all gone. So now we can start talking about what went wrong and how we're going to fix it.
Yeah. I love the off season. Much more abstract, right? And again, like the grind of this 162 game season, like you mentioned, post game and such, and again, this team just not being all good. And I mean, I'll say this: like, if we feel this way, I mean, I can't imagine how the players feel right now this morning. But maybe we'll talk a little bit about that because Noah Heil's released an article, and yeah, pretty insightful about how the players, some coaches, some things that went on this season, how they feel. Yeah, I guess to kind of put it, like, was the season doomed from the start? I guess we'll talk a little more about that. And of course, Alex Stumpf's Sporcle quiz, right? That was released. That was dropped yesterday. Big bombshell. So you know how we do that. We love to play that game on this show here. So we'll have 10 minutes basically to decide and name every Pirates player. I'm gonna fail spectacularly.
Yeah, I made sure I avoided like all spoilers yesterday. Like everybody was posting their Sporcle scores yesterday, and I was like, I don't want to see any of this. I don't want to see it. I want to see how we do. Yeah.
And what I like about today's show is there's really no need to look up any players. So it's not like I'm like reviewing and going, oh yeah, there's this guy, there's that guy.
Yep.
Let's test this out. 162 games we endured. Can we name all? Is it 57?
I remember
a number. I remember a number because I remember seeing people like say, I got this out of that. But before we do, let's go ahead and tell you about our sponsor of the show. So Fer is a family and employee-owned and operated business. They believe that coffee and tea are one of life's simplest and most accessible pleasures, and when enjoyed thoughtfully can open your eyes to the here and now. They have 5 locations across the city of Pittsburgh, including their flagship in the heart of Pittsburgh's historic Strip District. Don't forget to stop by Fer's new location downtown on Penn Avenue, right across from the Benedum. Grab a cup and fuel up your walk to the PNC Park. Mobile ordering is available. Check out their Instagram for more details. And of course, that is thefer.coffee. So, Jim, tell everyone what they can do when they go to that website.
Yeah, if you put in promo code NS930, NS930, you'll get 30% off your first order. You can pick up a bunch of bags of coffee, whatever you want. They got merchandise, they got tea, all the things your heart could desire. is at the website. So go to defer.coffee, use promo code NS930. Let me add this too. So I was in Pittsburgh this weekend. There was a football game that I attended. It was a great football game, by the way. Just
need
excellent.
to gloat. Cut to the chase.
Excellent refereeing. It was just a well played game by both sides, and the Louisville football team they came out on top. They were the better team for 60 minutes. So, but before the game, my wife and I, we stopped at the fair in the Strip District, and it was the first time my wife had been there, and she's now obsessed. So now every time we go back to Pittsburgh, we're gonna have to go down to the Strip District and go to the fair. She was
very nice.
Yeah,
very nice. Yeah, I mean the shop looks incredible. I mean, I love the inside of that place. It's a recorder one Bucco Brew. We were in the area, but yeah, I would say it's funny. Alan's already dropping how many days until the home opener and season opener, and
there you go. I'm not there yet. I'm not quite there yet.
I'll laugh. I actually dropped that 2 days ago, but it was more of a thought like, let's get the hell out of here. Let's move on to the next season. But yeah, so 177 days until they play the New York Mets. That's gonna go by so quick.
Yeah,
but
probably
so long, but yet so quick. But yeah, so I'm glad you went to the fair. We'll stop there.
Yeah.
So how about these quotes, Jim? How about this article that Noah just dropped?
Yeah, so let's dive into this. I kind of want to he kind of broke it into 3 sections, so let's sort of break it down into 3 sections, and we can kind of have our discussions on this. Lots of insight into like what went wrong here. And the title of the article, if you haven't seen it yet, is "The 2025 Pirates Never Had a Chance and the Players Knew It." Kind of a damning title that sort of sets up what it's about. But yeah, so if you haven't read it, we'll put a link down in the description. But it's on the Post-Gazette, just dropped this morning. Full of quotes and sources, pretty much just talking about what a disaster this team was, like from the get-go. So yeah, we'll get into that. He kind of starts off talking about Derek Shelton, then moves more into just like the organization as a whole, and then really just like what what the players are hoping happens whenever this offseason to get better. So but yeah, lots of interesting stuff in here. They talk about do we want to start with the coaching situation? It says here that Noah sourced more than 12, about a dozen players, talked to coaches, talked to team employees, talked to league sources to pretty much put this thing together, to kind of piece together what happened. But he really just starts off with Derek Shelton, starting off here with there was obviously a lot of pressure on Shelton at the beginning of the year to perform, which we all knew that. I mean, this was year 6 of the rebuild. There was actually expectations here.
Right.
It's time to win, right? That was the quote in spring training. So yeah, like there was pressure early on for the Pirates to win. He even goes in to say, like, this was Shelton's 6th year. The losing was not necessarily encouraged, but it was very much tolerated, in the early part of Shelton's tenure. He was heavily involved in pretty much the entire process. But it says here, one player told the Post-Gazette that it was when something went wrong, it was always someone else's fault. It was never Derek Shelton's fault. It was always someone else's fault. And I think that's when, like that, when that's the sentiment, like among an organization or a team, where like your leader isn't accepting any of the blame, like it's a problem. a problem. I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
when you're in charge, you're in charge. If something good happens, it's because the people underneath you performed. If something bad happens, it's your fault. Like that's just kind of what leadership is. And I think we saw that a lot in like his post-game interviews early, like kind of towards the end of Shelton's tenure there, where he really just kind of was like, I don't know what's going on. These guys, we need to be better.
We heard
They
that.
need to be better. Like, and so I guess when you just kind of have that sentiment over and over and over again, you do start losing the clubhouse a little bit. And I think that's what happened here.
For sure. And like you said, there was pressure, but rightfully so. I mean, it is time to win. And I guess you just bucked under the pressure, like for all the talk about Shelton, should he go, should he not go? Derek, leaving's not going to change anything. And the new guy, whatever new guy comes in, what are they going to do? I mean, again, like this is part of it. I mean, it's just like you probably just needed a new voice regardless. And I think this kind of shows exactly what we were talking about in that regards. It's not so much that like Derek Shelton is just such a terrible coach and he makes such an impact and difference, but these are the things that we're talking about. Like it's not so much the X's and O's on the field, it's behind the scenes. It's getting those guys ready and stuff. And they're feeling like, like he said, that you couldn't make a mistake. The fear of making a mistake was just palpable. I mean, like they couldn't. You're playing so tense and under pressure. I mean, the clubhouse, the team, like they're not playing to their best performance. And it kind of seemed like it was starting with Derek Shelton. He had so much pressure to perform and they weren't. And like, your job is being lost if you can't get this team to win. And he just wasn't handling it well. I think it's very clear what this article is set up to show that. We argue, should he be back? Because of that. I mean, we've talked about this time and time again about the losing and how complacency like they need to start winning. And it seemed as if it was okay, which again isn't all on Shelton, of course, but like it's been okay for 5 years, and then all of a sudden, oh, you got to perform now. And to Derek's credit, they didn't give him anything to do it with. It's not like this team was better, so he just felt the immense pressure of making the impossible have to happen, and he wasn't doing it. So yeah, I mean that's my biggest take from here. I mean, I think everything was justified in the firing, but again, like obviously it's not to put the blame on this team's performance on Derek Shelton, right? It starts from the top, but yeah, I mean he didn't have this clubhouse. It's very clear.
No, and I mean, someone asks here, like, why are we talking about Shelton? It's like, well, this season was over. We're recapping the season here, and Shelton played a big role in this season, just being over from the get-go. And I mean, there's just, I'm not going to like read this entire article here, but it says here that, Shelton was discouraged by the lack of additions this offseason. He was discouraged by the lack of major league ready players, which, hey, you know what? I agree. Like, I agree with, like, I was also discouraged with the lack of all that. The problem is that, like, once your team senses that you're discouraged, that like you're not good enough, well, then that's where you get this you're afraid to make a mistake. That's kind of thing that happened. And there's a quote in here too. One player said that he should have been gone at the end of last year. Like, when you have a player saying that, like, I don't even know why this guy was back. He should have been gone at the end of last year. That's a big thing. And then Nick Gonzalez, who's actually named in here, said that the team just essentially they lacked an identity and an overall goal, like as a group. And because of that, you're gonna underperform. And he thinks that there was that going on, where like there wasn't like a unified goal from the get-go. So yeah, I sympathize with Sheldon a little bit in that, yeah, like, dude, you didn't get much help here. But I think towards the end there, he sort of let that frustration boil up, because yeah, as much as you may believe that, like, you can't really you can't really let other people know that, right? Like if I run a sales team, right, with sales reps. If we're underperforming, I can't be just out there saying, well, these sales reps suck. If this team was made up of better sales reps, we'd be doing better. Like that's not how you should be leading a team. It's like, okay, how do I get the most out of these guys? And it just seems like towards the end, Shelton moved away from that. And it was more like, how am I supposed to do anything with this group? That's what ultimately, if that's the sentiment of the leader, that's going to be the sentiment of the team underneath him. And when he was fired, I mean, the season was over in early May.
Mm-hmm.
It was over.
Oh, it was, yeah. I mean, right, exactly. And like, what I want to say to that is, like, if I'm your superior and I'm talking to you about that, like, that's your excuses and stuff that you're telling me. I mean, again, this is where you're saying you're sympathizing with Derek Shelton because there's a lot of truth in what he was saying. But like, okay, well, what are you doing to change that? Like, what strategies you're implementing to improve this team? This person has this opportunity in this area. Like, how are you ultimately challenging them? How are you improving them? How are you getting to where they need to be to help you out? And if it is ultimately, hey, it's not me, well, then we're lost. We're lost. There's a disconnect here. Yeah, they might be part of the problem, but you're also a problem as well. And that's exactly, like what I see in this, right? So again, like talking about leadership and talking about making the change, it wasn't ultimately just because, well, Derek Shelton's a bad manager. Derek Shelton's got to go because the manager can create 5 to 10 wins, whatever. Like this kind of shows it, right? This is more than the X's and O's on the field. This is behind the scenes. This is getting the group of guys together. This is being a leader. And Derek Shelton was no longer being that leader that was needed. He was no longer having a voice in the clubhouse that they respected. As much as so, as like you mentioned, like guys were saying he shouldn't have been back. You're coming into the year with guys saying, why are you here? Again, doomed from the start almost. Like they're questioning, why are you even here? You don't have this clubhouse on day one. And with that being said, the pressure is on to win. And from the get-go, you had guys questioning if you should even be here. That's a tough situation. That's a really tough situation. So again, ultimately, like moving on from Derek Shelton just sounds like it was exactly the right thing to do. Too late. We thought it was too late, but again, some of the players thought it was too late. And yeah. So again, I think Derek Shelton's a great guy. I like Derek Shelton. I have nothing against Derek Shelton. But I felt it was time to move on. You felt it was time to move on. This whole offseason, we were kind of puzzled why he was back. And again, a lot of this article right here just cosigns on that.
Yeah, it's and again, like it was, the season was over 2 weeks in, essentially, just because of how bad this team started. So things turned very, very quickly there. And then, I mean, they moved to Don Kelly, and I think you immediately saw some responses. Like they weren't good under Don Kelly. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. Like the Pittsburgh Pirates under Don Kelly were not a good baseball team, which leaves me to believe that, hey, there's some deeper problems here than just the manager. That's probably not the only thing that's wrong here, huh? There's something else.
And to kind of segue that, like that's what it says here. But even those who felt though Shelton was hurting the team, they understood there was bigger problems at hand. So like even the players and people he's talking to address that.
Yep. Yeah, which brings us to the second part. I don't know if are we done talking about Shelton? Kind of moving on here.
I think so. Yeah, I think we move on. I think it's clear that the players, you know what, Jim, they thought this was a fresh of breath air. If I might add one of my famous quotes.
Yeah, I think the quote of this part of the article sort of comes at the end, but we'll talk about the whole thing. But I mean this quote, this is a $1 million quote here. This is an anonymous player, but it says, "We laugh at all this blank behind closed doors. It's just a bad organization."
Yeah. Can I Well, we will expand upon that. But, the thing about this is coming directly from a player. For all the you fans are bad, for all the you fans are the problem, for all this and that, and blaming the fans and this and whatever, just it starts from the inside. I can't express how much, if you want to change the culture, you can change the culture. If you want to get free agents in here, players talk. This is coming from a player. The player sensing this is a bad organization. If anyone has any stupid thought about the players and fans and whatever, and no, that's a byproduct of the problem. And the problem is the organization. And just kind of damning that, a player is actually going out there and just saying, off the record clearly, but still, this is a bad organization. That's damning.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting here is all offseason, we sort of talked about how 2024 wasn't good enough and that changes needed to be made. And we talked about that all towards the end of last year. Like they can't go into 2025 with the same people leading this team that did it in 2024. And it seems like the players agreed with us, because it says here that, after falling short last year, players and coaches expected changes to occur over the offseason. Mm-hmm. And then it says some hoped for new leadership, more hoped for roster additions, but instead hardly any moves of significance were made. That was our gripe all offseason, was this was a 76-win team. You went out there and you just ran it back, essentially. They ran it back. And they were like, you know what? These guys are just going to get better. Well, they got worse. They were led by the same people. They trotted out the same players, and they got worse.
100%. And again, this is coming from, like you mentioned, players, coaches, execs around baseball. This isn't just Noah having a feel. This is coming from them. And the fact that the players are saying this. You talked about $1 million quote. If that was $1 million quote, then this is a $999,000 quote, Jim. Because, and this is when I go to that comment you just posted by Jeffrey, the players should look in the mirror first. Well, coming from the players, this is banger of a quote. People think we're underachieving. Look around here. We're playing to our potential. This is what $90 million gets you. Holy shit. Honestly, the one thing and I talk about with Paul Skenes, and of course, things behind closed doors are different than out in public. But Paul Skenes isn't going to say, get me something or trade me. He's going to say, I look around, we need to do better, we need to improve, we need to do what we can control, get better, such. But at the end of the day, players look around and it's not about looking in the mirror. They're looking in the mirror. They're saying, we're not good enough. And again, let's go down this path here. We started from the get-go, IKF playing it short wasn't smart. You're taking his abilities and making him worse. He's good by being around the diamond. He's now becoming the starting shortstop. You bring in Tommy Pham, who, again, he had a nice second half, but that was your big outfield acquisition. Brian Hayes is still there and he's been struggling. Nick Gonzalez, first baseman, not sure. When you look around it, who is the good guy? Brian Reynolds and Ono Cruz should have, and they struggled, and that is correct. So if you want to talk about looking in the mirror, 100%, players still should, and absolutely those two absolutely need to look in the mirror this year. But ultimately, look at as a general statement as a team. When you look in the mirror, I think the players ultimately look and say, we're not good. We're not. So, right. This quote is 100% accurate, and that's how the players felt. So they're feeling hey, we wanted to be better. We challenged the ownership group to get us there, get us better, make some additions, make some changes. That's something we're kind of expecting. They didn't, and now Derek Shelton's tighter than ever, running around, and we can't make a mistake. We're not that good, and we're afraid to make a mistake. And all this pressure to win. And again, we're not that good. It's just a bad environment. And again, like I think it showed. And when Don Kelly took over, did they get better? Yes. Was it some really good team still? No, but they did get better. They just weren't terrible like they were at first because they were just in an even more toxic environment than they ended the season with.
Yeah, I mean, players know how good they are, right? And players know how good their peers are. They've been playing this game their entire lives.
How does a player know how good they are, Jim?
Well, they're that player. It's quite
But
easy.
wouldn't there be also something to kind of like stamp how good you are?
Well, there's stats. There's how much you're paid. There's all that.
Oh, so it's like almost how much you're paid. So like if you're
Yeah.
not a $20 million player, you're probably not a $20 million player, huh?
So
if you have
Paul
90
Skenes
million,
the $20 million player.
But,
I think
if you're a free agent,
I'll say this, like I'll take a little, like I'll push back on that quote a little bit, the $90 million quote, because it's like you can be better than this with $90 million. It's just harder. You just need to do better as an organization to be better than the Pirates were with a $90 million payroll. It's not like a team with a $90 million payroll has never made the playoffs, right? It happens almost every year. Didn't happen this year, but it happens almost every year where like a really low payroll team will sneak in there somehow. So I'll say that like, but the overall sentiment is correct. Like you spend $90 million, you're going to get a $90 million team, right?
Ultimately, I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
You bring in free agents, and they're all $5 billion free agents.
You're going to get a $5 million free agent is not an ideal candidate,
right?
To add to your team.
It's not like they're looking here saying I'm the dude,
right. Yeah, this specific part of the article I feel like is the biggest piece, because it seems like not only were the players upset about just like the leadership, the players around them, it seems like they were also just upset with just like almost all aspects of the organization, because they even go on to say here too about like they felt like if they were pissed off that Bubba Chandler and Braxton Ashcraft weren't given a legit shot to make this team out of spring training, and that service manipulation had a reason to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of what this is also implying here. Again, like if you're a player and the message is, it's time for us to win, and you blatantly see your team's leadership not play the best players that they have, that would piss me off. I'd be like, hey, hold on, you're trying to tell us that we need to win, but you're over here not giving us the best shot to win. That would make me angry. And it seems like that was the sentiment of the team as well. Was like, hey, these two studs we got, why aren't they with us?
Yeah. The other part of that I found interesting, and it continues to say, another player contended that Thomas Harrington's season was thrown out of rhythm due to the team's desire to get him back to the minor leagues after a pair of appearances in early April. I think ultimately we saw Thomas Harrington's season. It wasn't all that great. The way I kind of look at this is, I mean, maybe that's how they felt. Maybe that was true. But also it's the fact that the players are thinking this way. That kind of means something. Again, like they're in the environment. If they're almost like conspiracy theory minded, it's because they feel like this is a bad organization. They're not giving them the benefit of the doubt either. Mm-hmm. These are coming from the players. Again, I don't know if I totally believe that. However, those are players' thoughts. Internally, they're getting conspiracy minded as well. Tells you what they think about this organization and the leadership here.
Yeah. And all this is just kind of reinforcing what us as fans have been saying for so long. It's just a bad organization ran by people who aren't good at their jobs. And again, like, I kind of take this back. I know you can't. It's hard to compare baseball to like your real life job, but like when you're working for an organization, you know if they suck. Like, it's pretty easy to tell based off internal communications and interactions with coworkers and leadership. Like, I've worked for a few different companies, and I mean, I can rank them in terms of which ones are ran the best. Like, it's pretty easy to do that. As a person within that organization, like, these people got their stuff together, or these people have no idea what's going on.
Right.
And so it's no different here. And it again, based on this article, it seems like the players are very well aware that this is a poorly ran organization with multiple problems kind of spread across the board.
100%. Again, it's coming from the players. It says a lot. It says so much. It just says so much.
I'll say this. This is one thing I thought was funny.
Are you going where I'm going right now?
The batter's eye.
Yes.
Yeah. And the one part of this is that a lot of Pirates players apparently said that they couldn't see the ball in 4 p.m. afternoon games. So they asked if they could paint the batter's eye black instead of green. And the team said no.
Right.
Which I get it. That would kind of mess with the aesthetics of the ballpark. And I guess I would have to dive into this a little bit, because you can look like day night splits.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I wonder,
a deeper dive.
Like, is there actually anything to this? Like, do players hit poorly at PNC Park during the day?
So I'll find that out for you real quick. But what I was going to say is, because it says the 4 p.m. And that's something like the Pirates did change their times. I mean, they've always been like night, and then also like Saturdays, which again we kind of bark about because when we do the post-scare, the tailgates and such, that kind of
those 4 p.m. Saturday games are stupid. I hate them.
But they're saying it's 4 p.m. So like with the sun, it affects them. So there's like two things involved. It's like, well, because you changed this, now this is affected. So can you change that instead? It's like, well, just no. Well, they batted 215 at home and 248 away. So I'll say that. And again, which you always found ironic is like how poorly they played at home, but yet they won at home a lot. It's because of those pitching shutouts. So I guess actually there you go. It's probably we should check the splits for the away team also, right?
Well, I think there's a way to actually just check like splits during like for the entire ballpark. I'd have to dive into that a little bit, but I really want to. I don't think we have time to necessarily do this right now, but later today I'm going to dive into that, and I'm going to look to see, hey, what do players hit at night at PNC Park versus the day, just across the board, and we can do home, away, combined. I'm curious on that because it does say that was a thing that they asked, and the club was like no. Which
right.
I mean, if the batter's eye was painted black, it would mess. Like, I mean, the whole ballpark's green, so like you put a black batter's eye out there, and it would mess with it a little bit. So like, I understand it.
I do, and I guess probably at that point it's like, well, who cares? But like, if the goal is to win, don't you just like, well, if this is going to help you win, we need to do it. So I guess my question is like, what comes from this next year? Like, do 4 p.m. starts go away? If this is a thing,
easy answer, right?
Is does the batter's eye change to black? Like does a change happen at all because of this? I can understand maybe this year to some level. Of course, maybe at that time it's like, well, I mean, guys, the season's over. I'm not changing this batter eye. You guys are 20 and 40. Like there's no point. But next year, the goal is to win. Does something come out from this? that's to me what's going to be kind of interesting to find out.
One other thing too in this section is they also mentioned that the Pirates lack resources that it could improve performance. Players claimed the Pirates lacked the information and technology to help adequately game plan for opposing pitchers, which have been available to them with their time while on other clubs. So it really just seems like people come to the Pirates and they don't get the stuff that they're used to getting in other places. What's interesting is about comments like that is there aren't a whole lot of teams. There aren't a lot of players on this team hitting wise who have played for other organizations. So you can narrow that list of people down to like three. This offense is not full of many acquisitions. So, I mean, how many players on have hit for other organizations? There's Horwitz, there's Pham, there was IKF, there was McCutchen, and Bart. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Adam Frazier.
Yeah. What I think's funny is multiple from Toronto.
Yeah, that too. But like, so like, there's only
guys
like
came over from Toronto.
Guys.
I was like, oh god, what is this place?
There's only like 5 guys who could even really say this.
Right.
But yeah, that and I guess that's another alarming thing. Like you want to make sure you're keeping pace with the rest of the league in those aspects. And I think one of the things that people have kind of at least assumed is that, you know, Bob Nutting keeps saying that there's more money given to the baseball operations department than is spent on payroll. And, you know, Ben Cherington's in charge of how those dollars get divvied up. And Ben Cherington spends a lot on analytics and things of that nature. If that's the case, like, how are you still lagging behind? I guess you could go back to saying, hey, the capital investment still might not be high enough. Like that's also a very real thing that could happen.
Well, as we all know, according to Bob Nutting, I think I've done everything that I can to provide the tools and resources to the team. There's a point where it becomes execution, and that's why you play the games. But to your point, like, wasn't that why payroll wasn't as high as it was this year? Because, and then not that this was the right thing to do with it, but because they want to allocate it towards resources like analytics and whatnot. So, like, if that's where the money was going, what happened with it? What are you doing? And right, like that's again, like the damning point about this is clearly, this isn't just like a perception. This isn't like, I guess, like Nick Gonzalez coming up and say, shouldn't we have more? This is clearly guys who've been around, right? They've been to other teams because they've said, like, I was fed other information or this or that or whatever. Like, we had all this stuff somewhere else. You guys don't have that here. So, like, there is a clear, like, point of view of like, we this is done in Major League. Why isn't it done here? So, like, once again, to prove this is a bad organization, they're behind the times.
Yeah, and yeah, that, I mean, it's true. It's just this is a bad. Remember that story that Nesbitt wrote a couple years ago, where it was kind of just all the bad things here. This one doesn't go into as detailed, like specific things, but it does give you a good vibe about a good sense of what the vibes were in this clubhouse kind of all season long. And it seems like it wasn't a good place to work.
Same old Pirates,
you know. Also, I'll add in here, Noah says that the Pirates declined to comment on this story. So I guess they were given an opportunity to respond to these quotes from players, and they had no comment.
Yeah. Yep. And it does highlight some things that have already been like out in public. I mean, Skenes been talking a little bit. Kutch's been talking about that. So like we kind of know that. And he highlights it again. But like, yeah, like Kutch says, I feel like we're beating the same drum. Third year back kind of feels the same just from the instance that we are. kind of does feel the same. And from that, in this instance, just looking where we have to improve or we need to get better and kind of feel the same answers that you have internally. Yeah, it just leads to me to think like, what's the plan moving forward? And what is this going to look like next year? So again, like Kutch is kind of coming out and saying the things that are saying behind closed doors to the public, like we're expecting change. We want change. What's going to happen? Kutch says, and for all those people want to discuss, like, well, it starts with you, Kutch. I mean, that could be fair. That is fair. Kutch has to be better also. I get that. I think he probably gets that and feels that way also, but he's saying the right things. Like, it doesn't mean he can't say this. He shouldn't be allowed to say this. I mean, do you guys want the players that challenge leadership? Like, he should. That's kind of what he's saying. Like, he wants to retire. And when he retires, he wants to retire from a winning team. And obviously, we know he wants to play in Pittsburgh still. So I think he's trying to send the message like, hey, guys, I still want to play. I can play. I want to retire from a winning team, and I want to be here. How do you think those two get accomplished? You need to do what you need to do to get me back here to send me off on a winner. That's a challenge.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, Andrew McCutchen needs to be a little bit better. He didn't have his best season. He was a slightly below average hitter. But at the end of the day, Andrew McCutchen was the fourth best hitter on this team.
He's never been less than fourth, ever.
Like, the problem is next year Kutch is going to be 39. Actually, he's going to be 39 in 11 days. So like he's about to turn 39. He shouldn't be your fourth best hitter. This guy should be lower on the totem pole. You shouldn't have to rely on Andrew McCutchen in the 3 or 4 hole to spark your offense night in and night out. This isn't 2015 anymore. Like, he's not that guy anymore, right? And I love Andrew McCutchen. I want him to be here as long as possible. But you've got to make the people around him better. You, like I said, he is no longer the guy who can carry your offense. That's just not the type of player that he is. And he hasn't really been that guy for 6 years or so. And
he's still knows that.
He's still a good ball player. Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Like, he knows
that. You know how he knows that?
He's
a $5 million player.
Yeah. So, like, I guess my point is like, the problem with this team isn't that Andrew McCutchen is on it and performing like an average hitter. The problem is that Andrew McCutchen's on this team and his average hitting is the best this team can do. There's so many spots, and especially with the universal DH now and how they limit the amount of pitching spots, there's room on a roster for a guy like Andrew McCutchen where you can, play him every now and then. And Alexander Canario somehow was on this roster all year long. If Alexander Canario just didn't exist, would we have noticed or missed anything at all as a team? No.
And that was with Andrew McCutchen as a full-time DH occupying that for 500 plus plate appearances.
Yeah. So like there is room on a roster for guys like this in today's baseball. Andrew McCutchen played 135 games this year. Like, next year, he doesn't need to do that. Maybe he does, depending on what they do, but he shouldn't have to do that. Should be a little bit more of a part-time player and contribute, because you did see, like, when he was getting more rest early on, like that first half of the season, he was also hitting a lot better.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe it's not best to have Andrew McCutchen in the lineup every single day.
Fully agree on that. I mean, really, I do. There is room for him. The goal should be making him your 7th or 8th best hitter, and allowing him to be the not everyday guy, but still being there. I mean, he still can be an asset, and he still makes this team a better hitting team on it. Well, however you look at it, he makes his team better than what they are. So when you are able to be better than him, then you can discuss that, hey, we've outgrown Andrew McCutchen. We got to move on. Outgrow the bad players.
Yeah, the Pirates had an 82 weighted runs created plus as a team this year. McCutchen was 95. So Andrew McCutchen was 13% better than the average Pirate. McCutchen's not the problem. But yeah, I mean, we can kind of end this piece of it with, Paul Skenes has some quotes in here, and he's been talking a little bit more this year than he has been. But he goes on to say that he didn't really see much in terms of major league acquisitions at the deadline, which there weren't any. And he also goes on to say, hopefully that frees up space for us to go out there and get some bats this offseason. And with that, I just say, oh, Paul. Oh, young, naive Paul. I don't know. I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it,
First time.
Yeah, right. But like I said, there is a lot of deflecting in here, players blaming others, and Skenes, does end, like Noah ends this with a Skenes quote where, he talks about how we need to consciously and intentionally make moves to get us better. And he says, I think that's something that we might have been a victim of in the offseason a little bit. So I'll say this, like, Paul Skenes is a leader. Like you notice, like the quotes from Skenes are all we and us. He gets it, and we're lucky to have a guy like him. It's just now you need to bring in some other guys who, one, are a little bit better and just are accountable to their actions. And that's just not just from a player standpoint, but from a leadership standpoint as well. The managers, the coaches, the front office, like everyone needs to be better. And I think there are some folks who've been given the opportunity and ample time to show that they can be better, who haven't been better. And it's time to move on from some people, namely the general manager.
Yep, I agree. Speaking of Skenes and whatnot, I guess the the post on Instagram and Facebook, whatever, will drop in 7 minutes. But yeah, like he had another banger. I felt like with Alex Stumpf had an article came out, and it was basically like, should you guys be optimistic with all the young pitching that's coming around? And that's when Paul said, yeah, but we thought that coming into this year too. And again, it's like that accountability, like, sure, but same thing we thought this year. Clearly more needs to be done. We can't just be optimistic because of all this pitching here. So yeah, I love everything that Paul's saying. I love everything. He's in such a professional leader way, right? He's taking that accountability, but not blaming, but also like, you guys know what you need to do. You have something here. Let's do it.
Yep.
But also challenging it to the players that also need it. So again, looking in the mirror part, like Paul is saying those things also. We need to get better. We need to make those sacrifices.
Great article. Like I said, make sure you read it. If you haven't yet, like I said, we'll put the link here in the description of the podcast and the video. But yeah, make sure you go to Post-Gazette and check that out. I actually just got a text from Noah just for some added context that I'll share. He says that more than 20 different sources contributed to writing this, with nearly a dozen of them being players from this year's team.
So there you go. So it was actually 12 players, but 20.
That's half the roster. Sort of helped him write this.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's not the Hunter Barcos of the world. So yeah.
I really hope that that there's changes made. There's got to be changes made. This isn't working.
Will Ben be back? That's what I didn't interject then, but I thought it was funny is how, you talk about all last off season, Are things going to change? And it's just funny because now we're heading into the 2026 season and we have literally the same questions. It's the same thing we were talking about last year. I mean, how we joke about all the post game shows, you could probably hit record and play the same one over again. We didn't really have to do it. We just had to play the same post game show every day and just change the name of the pitcher. Well, this offseason, we could probably just go ahead and replay every show we had last year. And it's not live on November 13th last year. Let's just go ahead and play it next month. Let's just see if anyone knows the difference. I guess the only difference is you replace Shelton with Don Kelly. That might be the only difference in what we're talking about. So that again, like that's the damning part. People went into this year thinking like, and again, we're talking about players, but like nothing changed. What are we doing here? And we ultimately have the same question a year later. So is 2026 about to be doomed before it starts also? So let's go back to Dougie Fresh. Let's go back to Doug's videos, Doug's quotes, right? It's a great day to fire Ben Cherington. Let's make that change ASAP. Let's actually make a change and move forward and maybe not have 2026 doomed with Paul Skenes still there and potentially Connor Griffin coming up.
Yeah, like I said, you can't run it back. This team won 71 games.
It is a choice. You can.
This team won 71 games.
Absolute choice to do.
Can't run it back. Can't run it back, man.
Sure you can. Depends what your goal is. Depends what you want to do. But you can run it back. That is a choice you're allowed to make.
Let's just hope we get like a tweet sometime this morning that says like, hey, a press conference has been called at PNC Park for 3:00 this afternoon or something like that.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
That's what we want from you, Noah. Do that one next. You have to make Ben get fired.
Be the change you want in this world.
Ask the tough questions like when's Ben getting fired? You stupid beat reporters. Come on, ask the tough questions. It's your fault that Ben's still there. Anyhow, should we?
Are we ready? But yeah, so that's
the
story of the 20. Yeah, that's the story of the 2025 Pirates. I'm ready for this Sporcle quiz. Yeah, this is a fun activity. I feel like we do it every Bucco Brew after the season's over. 57 players played for the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2025. Can we name all 57 players?
I'll say this.
It's gonna be tough.
At least there's only 57 this year.
Ooh, yeah, sure.
How many have like? There's been like, I mean, there was like the most ever. What, 2 years ago?
I think they broke a record. I forget what it was, but it was over 60. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, at least we're not in that territory anymore, where there was like 90,000 relievers. But Noah says I'm done asking the tough questions this year.
Yeah, I feel like I think I'm gonna be okay here on the position players. Like I feel like I've got a pretty good grasp on position players. There's going to be a couple relievers I feel like that I'm gonna completely forget existed.
Yeah.
So we ready to do this? We got 10 minutes.
Let's God. No, I'm not ready, but yeah.
We're just gonna do it. I'm clicking the button. All right. Do we want to start with like just go by like position?
We've already wasted 5 seconds. Yes.
Let's okay. So catcher, right? Okay. So we got Henry Davis, Bart,
Endy,
Rodriguez.
Oh God, what was his name?
Flores.
What was his name?
Brett Sullivan played a little bit.
Sullivan.
I think that was all the catchers though.
Wait, wasn't there 5?
Yeah, that's 5. Davis, Flores, Rodriguez, Sullivan.
Bart. Oh, I'm missing Bart up top. Okay, yep. Okay.
I think that was everybody. All right.
I agree.
Move over to first base. We had Horwitz. Naturally. We had Triolo played some first. Nick Solak played some first base? Who first? Nick York played some first base. Who was the left-handed option at first? Was there a left-handed option at first when Horwitz was injured? Did Billy Cook?
He never made it.
Billy Cook never got called up, right? Oh, he did. Billy Cook he was there.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, Billy Cook was on the major league team this year?
You know what? Billy Cook was up for like a week. Yeah. Oh, here's a good one. James on Facebook. And Manuel Valdez.
Oh my God. Stop it, James. But
because that would have been one. I'm pretty sure I would have come. That was one I would have completely forgot. Was Valdez.
I've totally forgotten that guy's a Pirate. He actually still is a Pirate.
Yeah, he's still a Pirate. Like he's got years of control and everything.
Wow.
Okay. Well, that kind of seeps. I think that's everybody who played first base. Yeah, I guess
Valdez is the one we're thinking though.
Yeah, Andy played some first too.
Okay.
Okay. So second base though, Gonzalez. We already got.
I was going to give your boy Solak some love.
There's Piguero. Let's just go ahead and throw Devaney in here. Yeah.
Okay. We're still in the kitchen sink out now. I guess IKF technically.
Kiner, Falefa. Okay. Who was the other guy who? Oh, Chang. Sung-Chae Chang.
Yeah. Yep. He did get a call. He's on the 40 man.
We've already got Triolo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's everyone for second.
And that should cover everyone for short.
That covers everybody for short too.
So Cabrine at
third base, Hayes.
And then that should cover everyone there too that we've listed, right?
Hayes, Devaney, Triolo. Yeah, I think that's
IKF.
That's probably all the infield.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess though Kutch, he's DH. He's out the way.
McCutchen. All right, left field was Pham.
Yep.
Sawinski.
Canario.
Bay. Canario. Trying to think any other like
I don't know if he totally played left, but they get the dude's name. Put in Simon as well.
Oh, Ronnie Simon. Good one. Okay, let's just go Cruz, Reynolds. That's 25 position players.
That sounds
like that sounds
good, right.
Sounds good. We got Jack. Trying to think any other like random outfielders who played just. Was there anyone that was just on this team for like a week?
Solak.
Solak. We got him. I want to say that's it. I don't think they brought up anybody else for just like a minute.
Let's do this.
Gorski.
Oh, yes. Good
Matt
call.
Gorski.
Okay. We're 5 minutes deep. Let's stop there. Let's go to the pitching.
I think that's
that way.
Okay. All right. Skenes, Keller, Heaney, Ashcraft, Burrows,
Oviedo, Majinski.
Majinski, Harrington started a game. Bucco, we'll just throw him in there. Relievers: Santana, Bednar,
Holderman,
Moretta, Holderman,
Justin
Lawrence, lefties:
Tim
Meza, Matson, Evan Sisk.
Yep.
Any other lefties? Mesa, Barucki,
and Kansas City Sisk, the trade.
Sisk
from Philly extension.
So we need 10 more. We got some relievers here. So like, let's think of the random guys who got called up for like a second. So Cam Sanders.
Oh, this is getting tough.
Okay.
Still have 9 to go.
Yeah, let's buckle down here. We already got Matson. Steel City DW. Did Kreidler ever get an at bat? No. Tanner Rainey was one.
Oh my God. Tanner Rainey existed also. Why am I drawing such a blank on the relievers now? I feel like those relievers are in this. Oh, also with the Braves, we just saw him. Hunter Stratton.
Hunter Stratton, yeah. Okay, we got 2 minutes and 25 seconds left. We're at 50 out of 57.
We are cooked.
Oh, come on. Man. Come on. Oh, what about that dude with the long name? Richardson something?
Oh,
Simon Richardson? Or
yeah, Simon? Is it Simon? I'm sorry, sir. I don't know your name.
What was his name?
Woods
Richardson.
That's what it was. Or Richard Woods or Simeon Woods or Woods Simeon or
Woods. I thought it was something Woods Richardson.
I don't know.
I don't know either. God, we got a minute and a half left. We're at 50.
Also, remember that one year that Alex made a typo in someone's name?
Shoot. Simeon Woods Richardson. Was that his name? Richardson Woods.
Is Simeon a real first name though? Isn't it? I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I feel like those three combination of those three exists in some form.
Who are we missing here? We're missing. We got to be missing somebody like really. Like,
did we say Keller?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Simeon Woods Richardson or something. Oh, Daryl Hicks.
Wait, was it Daryl? This game's dumb. Who created this?
Michael Daryl Hicks.
Wait, Simeon, isn't he a twin?
Yeah. I just knew it was a.
Wait, we're thinking of a whole nother team.
Oh, Bubba.
Shit. Oh God, Bubba. Yes.
How did we miss Bubba? All right, we're 52. We have 20 seconds left. Oh God. Johan Ramirez.
Oh.
Chase Shugart.
Oh, Shugart.
The chat's helping out a lot right now. Oh, we got 3 more. 10, 9, 8. I think we're cooked. We got 54. We missed Kyle Nicholas. We missed Kyle Nicholas.
Oh my God.
Kyle Nicholas
this year too. And then Cabrera.
Kyle Nicholas, Joey Wentz, and Genesis Cabrera.
I'll say this. I was never getting the Cabrera one. I was never getting the Wentz one.
I don't think I would have gotten Cabrera. I think I maybe could have eventually gotten Wentz, but yeah.
I completely forgot he was on the team this year. Like,
I'll say this though, the Michael Daryl Hicks. That was a good
Simeon Woods Richardson.
I knew there was a hyphen.
We just knew there was a hyphen.
I was like, I know there's one guy with a hyphen, and Simeon Woods Richardson was the only guy I knew with a hyphen.
What's funny as it is Simeon Woods Richardson. And
Yeah,
he's a
it's Simeon
freaking
Woods
Minnesota
Richardson.
Twin.
He was also never a Pirate.
He
Like,
also doesn't have a
at all.
hyphen. It's just 3 names.
We're like, who's someone with 3 names?
Oh, that's pretty hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll say that 54 out of 57. That's not bad. I mean,
That wasn't bad at all.
Early in the morning. Yeah, I think we did.
We should be
okay.
ashamed about Kyle Nicholas. We should.
Kyle
be.
Nicholas, yeah, that is a shameful neglect.
The other 2,
and like the chat came through. The chat helped us a lot. Like we would have. I would have missed it. As far as the 10 minutes go, I don't know if I would have came up with Bubba. Like that one somehow completely slipped my mind.
That's crazy too. How do you forget Bubba? And he just pitched too. Like he's here now.
I mean, I love Bubba.
The best prospect pitcher in baseball for how long? We talk. You just miss Bubba.
Yeah.
And this is Cabrera. Sure, I understand.
Yeah. Cabrera, I get.
Bubba's
I should have put Solak as
right into next year.
Well, yeah. Sorry, Kyle Nicholas. Sorry, Joey Wentz. Sorry, Genesis Cabrera.
Well, that's that.
That's that. All right. Well, thank you all for sticking with us. I said we'll be doing the Bucco Brew isn't going away. So every Monday morning we'll be right here to talk about the Pirates, whether there's a season going on or not. NS9 Live not going away. We've got, like I said, lots of stuff planned for this off season. So yeah, stay tuned. We're not gonna inundate you with daily stuff. I think we all kind of need a little bit of a break from the Pirates from like a 24/7 standpoint. But we'll be making sure that there's fun stuff for you guys.
Oh yeah, we definitely have things lined up. And again, like just for this month, all that stuff. Also, we are going to Arizona Fall League, so we'll have some content beforehand, leading up to it. When we're out there, have some content afterwards, and of course, when we do return, we will have the Fanboy Awards also. So, like, start getting these things ready. We had the Sporcle quiz. You guys know usually the little things we have out there, the awards and such. So, start thinking about your nominations. We'll have that out here shortly to get that put together because the Fanboys are coming. Those are also always a good fun time. So,
Fanboys will be very fun. Yeah. So get your nominations. Yeah. Just start thinking about your nominations there.
Correct. Well, is that a wrap for the 2025 season officially? Good article, Noah.
That does it. Yeah. Shout out Noah. Good stuff.
We will be back. I guess also like Wednesdays officially, and it's not live. Now that the season's over, there's no like if there's an off night or whatever, it's Wednesdays and it's not live. So we'll be back again on Wednesday with Tyler. I think the 3 of us, right? I think.
That's the plan.
All right. Jim's back. We're going to have some fun. Not really. So stay tuned. As always, we love you. Go ahead and like the video. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell also. Make sure you get the notifications because especially now this off season, you never know when we're going to go live. Never know what things might happen. Hey, we might have an emergency podcast to talk about. We just might. So hit the bell. That way you don't miss it. So, yep. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube. If you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.